I guess we are live. No. Yep. All right.
All right.
You quickly confirm if we are live?
I just lost your voice, Imani. Can you just say that again?
Sure. Cool. I guess we are live. Awesome.
Okay.
Hello everybody. Welcome to Pesto's live event on remote work. I'm Himani, community manager here at Pesto, and I'll be today's host. And we also have our speaker Sohini Patnayak with us in the room. Hey Sohini, welcome to Pesto. What's up, and how has your day been so far?
Hello.
Yep.
Uh,
Where are you joining us from, Sohini?
I'm joining from Bangalore, the 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 best place, I guess, in India.
Cannot deny that. And nice. Before we begin, here's an icebreaker activity for y'all. Quickly drop down the place you're joining us from in the chat box. And I'm really eager to kind of know all the remote places you folks have tuned in from. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would be really.
Yep, we have folks from Hyderabad, Delhi. Cool. Hello, folks. Vishakhapatnam. Interesting. Jammu, wow, the number of states just keep on increasing. Gondia, wow, that's in Maharashtra, right? Dhanbad, Dehradun, wow, that's such a lovely place. Varanasi, Mumbai,
And
Raipur,
uh,
Himachal, Rajkot, Gujarat. Wow, we have such a diversity in the audience today. Good to know that. All right. It was super fun reading the responses of folks. And wow, it's just simply fantastic to kind of see the variety.
the variation, yeah, actually.
Right. Awesome. I guess we are warmed up to kind of kick start the session. And so Sohini, how has your day been so far?
My day has been really good, and it's raining in here, so I'm super, happy because it's just cool, and it makes you feel so good when it rains, and yeah, so that's it. And I've been working since morning, but it was great. Like I had a good day so far.
Awesome. As in, my day also has been like pretty chill. I kind of went for a workout session in the morning, then came
Okay,
back all energized. Had my favorite cake and then worked on some cool stuff. And here I'm with you. And yeah, I'm just kind of feeling great and looking forward to the great conversation ahead. And also, I'm kind of super pumped. And I can also kind of get similar vibes from our audience as well. So let me quickly introduce Sohini. Right, she has been working as a product manager at Intando for a while now, and she has also worked previously as a developer advocate. And I'll let Sohini introduce herself in a while. But there's one thing which I'd like to mention, right, which is the work she has been doing for the larger community out there. I did go through a couple of talks, and I was kind of just left. I mean, she's always brimming with this cool spirit. So Hindi, truly happy to kind of have you here today.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll just once I can share my screen, then I can start talking all about myself, and then we can just go with our topic for today. That sounds good.
Sounds good, Sohini. And while you do that, let me kind of set a brief context for the folks here. So, folks, we are here today to kind of discuss remote work. There's a ton of chatter out there about remote work, right? And not to forget the hot takes, the controversies, the debates between, working in office versus hybrid versus remote. I mean, this kind of just never ends. And thus, I'll kind of hand over the mic to Sohini now so that she can help us cut through the chatter, and also kind of tell us how we can pull off working remotely by kind of following some healthy practices. And also to the folks who are new here, the format of the session will be this: we'll be having a slide deck for the first 30 minutes, and then in the last 20 to 30 minutes we'll take the questions from y'all. So y'all can drop the questions in the chat box, and we'll make sure to cover them later. So yeah, I hope we are good to begin now. Sohini, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Once again, thank you for giving me such a very beautiful welcome. And definitely, I will discuss all the things I do to make my work life really productive. And you know what? Like when your work life is productive, it kind of enhances your personal life too. And that is very important. Only if you have a good, healthy work life, then only you can have a good, healthy personal life. So everything is connected, but we'll try to discover some really good ways how we can keep ourselves productive and happy, not frustrated, all these things at the same time. So, yes. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so Himani, can you just yeah, I can see my screen. Cool. So is my screen visible? Just confirming. Sorry. I hope it is because once I share my screen, I cannot see the chats. So if somebody can just, Himani, if you can just confirm. Uh, okay, I hope it is. All right. So, about me, before I just share all those great stuff, I just want to talk a little about myself, who I am, where I come from. So, I started my journey when I was in the second year of my college, and I did an engineering degree, and I did it on 2017, and I passed out on 2021. But when I was in the second year of my college, I did my first internship at American Express. But again, I got to American Express doing a little bit of coding competitions. So back then, I used to do lots of coding competitions. And I think still now, I'm not sure about now because I don't really check out often. But back then, it was very like there was a huge craze for these coding competitions, and back then there was no COVID, right? So people used to just go ahead and get some good ranks and then stand a good position in the final round. And the final round would happen as an offline event. And when you go to that offline event, then you've got many companies, the sponsors would come in, you have a good networking over there. So a similar thing happened with me. So I participated through Tech Geek coding competition, and then it was around 60 lakhs people, and then I went to the final round where they were the top 200 people, and I got a rank around 70, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of there. And then these companies were hiring American Express and companies like Goldman Sachs, and then I got an internship offer over there. And then I did my first internship at American Express in 2019, the winter internship. It was cool over there. And then after that, since I was in the second year, so I didn't have a chance of getting the placement offer because they do not offer the pre-placement offers to second year students. And then again in the third year, I did another internship over there. But then, like, I wanted to switch to a different role because I was quite interested in being a developer advocate, and I was quite interested to know about the remote work and remote culture because I had seen some of my friends doing that back then. Uh, Not friends, but people, like for LinkedIn and other places. And then I joined Dabble Lab as a developer advocate, and over there, like I built lots of Alexa skill templates, different APIs, and different on different SDKs with the different packages and stuff, like lots of things. So, and then I shifted to Entando, and this I made this shift last year, in December, and I was working as a developer advocate at Entando, but then I became a associate product manager, I think 2 months back. So that's another big shift of my career, and it's kind of something which is totally different from what a developer does from the day-to-day life. So shifting from being a total developer and just not thinking about business at all to thinking about business, the product, the customers, and everything, it was a bit challenging for me. But I'm like, I feel good about it because I think um, this is going to be very useful and very profitable for me, which is right now even. So this is a little about what I have been doing so far. And then Dabble Lab and Nintendo both are remote companies. And so I only did one on-site job, which was my internship at American Express. The first one which I did, the second one was remote. The rest two have been remote for me. And trust me, remote
Hey
is very
Sohini,
fun. Hmm.
sorry to interrupt, but the presentation isn't in the presentation mode. So perhaps, do you want to quickly check on that?
Yeah, I just, okay. Wait,
Yep. As in, we are still kind of seeing the first slide, which is the intro slide.
okay. Is there a change now? No?
Nope, nope, not yet.
Okay.
Maybe you can just stop sharing and try to reshare.
Yeah, I can do that, but yeah, okay. Is there any change now?
Yep, yep. There is. I am able to see your handles slide.
Now? Is it different now?
Nope.
Okay. I think there's some issue with the network in that case. Hmm.
Okay.
What can I do? Let me change my network in that case. Wait. This might be because I'm using my mobile data actually.
As in, we are able to see the slide wherein your handles are mentioned. So it kind of did get changed, but perhaps we can keep going, Sohini. Maybe that should be fine. Okay. Yep. Folks, just give us a second. I guess there's some network issue on Sohini's end. So yeah, just hang in there for a while.
Okay.
Hey, hello Sohini. Yeah, you're back.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the, network issue happening. Okay, just let me know if you can see my screen.
Nope, not
Can you
yet.
see my? Okay,
Not.
okay.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Sure, sure.
Not yet?
Yep, we are able to see American Express slide now. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
we are good to go. Cool.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay. Okay. I'm changing the slide. Now, can you see this next slide which I just changed?
Yes,
Intro to
yes,
remote jobs.
yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay, cool.
perfectly all right now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry, everyone. It's just that it's raining here, so that's why, there's a network glitch over here. I'm really sorry for that. Okay. So yeah, that was a little about my journey so far, and I kind of shared that with you just to tell you that I have been into remote jobs for a while now, and I can definitely, give couple of great things to share with you, which I think are really helpful while you're working remotely. So a little bit of uh, thoughts about what happens in a remote job. This is mostly for beginners, and how can one apply for it. So like many people have a perception that, oh, remote job is going to be, this, like what happens, or is it something different from on-site jobs? Well, it's everything is the same here. It's just that you I don't know, like some companies are not completely remote, and some companies, like the company which I work in, is completely remote. So I don't have uh, lots of employees in India. I just have another colleague of mine who stays in India, and rest of them is in Italy, France, and US and UK. So what happens is we just have everything remotely arranged for us in terms of meetings, in terms of events happening inside of our company, and then like everything. And it's just that there's nobody who can come and talk to you straight in front of you or something like that. But rest everything is same. The work that you do and everything, you use the same things. Like for us, we use Slack, and I think most of the companies use Slack for the communication in terms of video conferencing and this that. Everything remains same. It's just that you don't have an office, and rest everything is perfectly same. And then in a remote job, the culture is quite different if you're working remotely for a US based or Italian or France based company, and compared to what happens in India, because their culture is different. The way they keep their employees, the way they would like to maintain an ambience or a situation within their employees is totally different than what happens here in India. So that is quite different, because of course if you're doing a remote job, then it definitely means more in most cases that it's a company that's really far away from you. But yeah, although right now I think in India there are some companies which are shifting to permanent, remote jobs, because remote culture came to India, I think, in the past 2 years post COVID, like during COVID, not post COVID. But then these companies which are remote, they have been remote before COVID, so their entire culture was remote, before this entire situation happened to us. So yeah, and how can one apply for it? Definitely, I think before how can one apply for it, I would say if you ever make up your mind and if you have a question if I should go for a remote job or not, you should definitely go, because there are so many benefits of being in a remote job. Yeah, of course, if you are a very social person and if you'd like to be social with your colleagues, and yeah, that might be something that you can miss. But in terms of your, I don't know, like uh, team, in terms of the culture and the pay, which is very important. All these things, like you will do much better than what happens in general companies here, like in India. So yeah, like again, I'm being India and other company specific, but this is something which I keep telling in all the events I go. Every time I speak a single word about remote jobs, I would just say, just go for it. You can earn so much than, someone who might not around you and who might not be doing a remote job. So yeah. And then coming to the point how you can apply for it. So I think this is remote Indian Slack server and a website, which is again founded by Abhishek. And like not because I'm in this event, but this particular Slack server has helped many people, and this is one of the server I keep referring to all the people who come to me saying like, hey, I'm looking for a remote job. My first preference becomes this because I really like it. And the best part of it is it's so engaging, and it's not a silent and a sleepy server. Everybody has got so many resources, although I have only like I really it's a very funny thing. I should definitely share it. Sorry. Every time I have used this server was only because I wanted to find a good CA and he wanted to understand how to, manage all these international transfers, this and that, and all those questions about finance. But I always got help. So that's the thing about this server. It's like really helpful from like in terms of getting to the right remote job to the rest parts of it, like getting sorted in terms of money, where to go, which path to take, and places to visit, the nomad life, and they've got so many channels. You should definitely go and check that out. And I'm sure you might all be registered or be in the server already, but still, I just love it personally. So yeah, and then we've got many other websites, and these are pretty helpful too if you want to take a screenshot of it to take it if you would like to use it as a reference. These websites are really really cool, and you can find so many opportunities here, and all of outside countries, mostly UK, US, and all those places. Very nice place to look for opportunities. And then, yeah, so I think I covered like how a remote job is different from on-site jobs. So it is different. You don't have to go to office daily. You need to, I don't know, like customize a room in your home and make it your own office, and you won't be seeing your manager in front of you, like for real. And then it's like you might not be seeing your colleagues, and then there might not be some specific timing, like you have to start and you have to reach, like just for offices in most of the cases you have to reach in this time, you have to log in at this time, and this and that. But in most of the remote jobs that I have seen, not only for the companies that I have worked in, but other companies where my remote friends work, for the remote jobs, like they don't, there's no hard and fast rule that you have to log in this time, but again it depends upon your role. But I don't think for software engineers or for product managers or for analysts or marketing people there's a hard and fast rule that, unless it's a sales role. I don't know really about that, but for these roles there's no hard and fast rule that you have to do things this time and that time. It's all very flexible. So yeah, that's the only difference which I see from my uh, vision. So again, so these are the things. You have flexibility, take breaks. You don't have to sit for 8 hours straight. You can just take some break. And again, like this is something which I get, and I have got in both my companies, in the past, in the previous company also, and in this company also. Like there's nobody who keeps on telling me or who would ever tell me that, hey, why did you just not, like, hey, this is the deadline, you have to, or something. It's like, okay, like, you give us a deadline and then you can work anytime you want. Nobody's going to see what you're doing on the other end of your computer. You have all flexibility, just work for as many hours you wish to, but the work needs to be done. This is the best flexibility which I get in my company. And this keeps me stress free. I don't have a pressure in my head, and that makes me work even faster than I would if I had stress in my head. So that's something. And then I have the comfort of my home. I don't know, uh, yeah, being at home is so different than being at office. You can't really find out points on that area. So I have the comfort. I would just go and cook and just be on a meeting, and then I would just come and work for 2 hours and then again do something and come back. So there's so much comfort. And then, yeah, work from anywhere, which I'm going to do. So tomorrow I would be going out for a vacation to a place, and there I plan to work from there and just stay over there for a week and work from there from Monday. So these are the things you can do. You can just do workation. That's the right word. You can workate from several places, go to several hostels and stay over there in hills and work from there for, I don't know, a month or two. That's really cool. You can do that with remote jobs. Go to the top of the mountain and start working from there. Of course, if you get network over there, uh, and yeah, at your own pace. And then many more as you can discover. So these are my personal findings. Uh, but every people has got their own perspective. So definitely, if you ask another remoter, they would have a different perspective of how they would enjoy their remote job. Uh, so yeah, it's obvious different person to person. But for me, I think these are the best things which I enjoy while I'm remote. And then yeah, so again, the best thing that I enjoy while working remotely is I have so much flexibility. I have time to do activities in between my work. So let's say you're in an office and then you go to the office at 10 o'clock and you have to come back home at 5 o'clock. So definitely, let's say you're to gym, your gym timings are from 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon and you need to go. So in an office, it's a bit difficult. I don't know, I can't imagine of that. But what I would do is like I would work and then I would block my calendar. Like being in a remote culture, remote work, I would just block my calendar for an hour and say gym time, and I'll go and do a bit of gym and come back and again I can start working. So this is the best thing which I enjoy. Like I can do so many activities in between work, and there's nobody cares what you're doing, just your work needs to be done on time. That is what they all care about in your company. Then comes benefits. Benefits is uh, benefits you have a lot. So remote jobs, again, as I said, I would yeah, I would like to generalize a bit. So let's say you're doing remote jobs, not from our country. Let's say you're doing US based remote jobs. There you have a greater scope of earning, which I see as one of the best benefits. And then in most of the cases, you earn as a consultant. There can be full-time employee jobs where you get, like your remittance as a fixed amount, but I think in most of the cases it's a consultant because they keep us as consultants, and in that case, like, like there isn't any kind of tax deduction or anything, but you get a lot of it, and then you can just take care of that on your own, like with a CA or something. But in terms of earning, you earn a lot, and some companies which actually provide insurance, they give you a huge, like that's very expensive, but it's really, really good for you if your company, remote company, is providing you with insurance. So in terms of money, yes, it's very beneficial in terms of what is there over here. All the companies in here, even remote companies in India, you can, yeah. And then again, as I said, you get to interact with so many people from the outside. You get to learn. So when you're in a company, like I don't know, for me, I also enjoy working with people from other countries, learning about their perspectives, their vision, their thought, and their way of approaching problems and fixing them, their way of people management. These are the things which I love to learn, and I really learn from them how they're dealing situations, how they're dealing with problems, and many other things. And again, learning about their culture. That's again the side part when I'm interacting with them informally. Uh, those are again benefits. And then, so my company called me to Rome um, for an event, but unfortunately, I couldn't say yes because of personal reasons. But I have the opportunity to travel for events happening sponsored by my company. I also have the opportunity to go and work there. So my company said they can give me a visa and I can work there or work from there for a month or two, or whatever I wish. So these are benefits for me. these are really benefits for me, which so like again benefits depends what you call as benefits, but to me I think these could be great benefits you can imagine of when you're working, right? So yeah, these are the great benefits. And then lastly, I would speak about the best practices to stay productive, which is our topic again while working remotely. So the first thing I would share with you all is the Pomodoro Timer. You can definitely go and Google this. This is something I learned from my boss at Tabel Lab in my previous company. So this is a timer which you can install in your machine and in your laptop. And what happens is you turn this on. There's a timer for 20 minutes. So you work for 20 minutes, then a bell is going to ring. And once a circle of 20 minutes is covered, then a timer of 5 minutes would start. And in that 5 minutes, you're supposed to leave up everything and just walk away from your table. You don't have to switch to a different task. It's just that leave this desk, just go and sit somewhere else, or just do something. Or if you don't wish to do something, just go and sit in your couch, or just go stand in your balcony. Just don't, you know. It's just for 5 minutes you have to get away from your desk. Now, if you wish to switch to a different task, then it's great. You are awesome. If you don't wish to, then also it's great. That is also a good way of, but this is a very nice thing. And then again,
Hey folks, I see that Sohini's screen has stuck, so perhaps let's just wait for her. Meanwhile, I see a bunch of questions in the chat. Folks, pretty interesting questions. We'll take them up in a while. Uh, cool. Sohini is back. So, Sohini, over to you.
can you see me again? I'm so sorry. The power just went off again. There's no power again. I'm back to my mobile data.
Uh, no worries, Sohini. It happens with all of
Yeah,
us. Continue.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So I'll just get back to all the answers. I just want to finish it up while I'm sharing my screen with presentation. I cannot see the chat. I don't have a second screen. So once I complete this, we'll get back to answering all your questions. So yeah, that's the Pomodoro timer. And then after the 5 minutes timing, again, the timer would start for 20 minutes, and then you got to come back to your desk and then you work. So this helps. I know for beginners, it's going to be a bit like uncomfortable, but once you get used to this is going to be super cool. Like, this is a very good habit of working. Just, I don't know, like, and also in terms of developers, also, let's say you're having a bug, what we do is we keep on trying to solve, fix it because we have that thing inside of us, like, okay, there's a bug, we need to fix it, we need to fix it, no matter why, no matter how, and why is it happening? This is so simple and all these things. But like when you leave that at night, you sleep, and next morning you do something and get back to your desk, you have an instant solution for the bug, right? This happens to most of us, and this really happens. So, that's a big time span. We can avoid that if we try to follow the Pomodoro way of solving stuff using the Pomodoro timer. So it's a good way. And then again, time tracker, this is also important. So this is, I don't know if it relates to productivity, but this is something which helps you keep track, because what happens is in remote jobs, sometimes it can be, let's say you're having a day while you have lots of things to do in your home, and you're working for some time, but you're getting up to do a thing for, let's say, half an hour, but that exceeds your time. So certain things keep on happening. So to avoid a situation when you're totally distracted away from your work and you're totally, swayed away towards some other household activities, it's important that you have a time tracker. So I used to use Hubstaff when I was in my previous company, and this way you can track. So let's say you are working, start the timer. Let's say you have to get up off your desk, just stop it, and then again when you come back, just start it. And by the end of the day, just see how many hours you have dedicated to your work. That is going to help you, because if you see I've worked really less, then it hits your mind like, no, tomorrow I have to give some more of it. So this helps. And then vacations, weekend getaways. It is very important when you're in a remote job. Like, it's not really that, yeah, it's important for office going people too, but at least they have a scope of, going to the office daily, meeting new people, chit chatting with them, and having a face to face interaction. But when you're totally remote, I know the scope becomes a little lesser. So when we kind of compare these two situations, I think it's important. We need to kind of freshen up ourselves, socialize a bit, and then get back to work. Otherwise, it becomes really hectic. You don't feel connected. Like if you try to find out everything inside your laptop, you'll never be productive. Trust me, because everything should have a different source. Your entertainment should have a different source. Your work should have a different source, which is your laptop. And then your happiness, again, should have a different source. Once you have everything different, then, like the laptop really doesn't seem that boring, or work really doesn't feel that, like, I don't know, you won't feel like, oh, I'm always in front of the laptop. I don't feel like being in front of the laptop. So, yeah, this is something you should definitely think about. I know it's a very thought provoking thing, but you should definitely think about this. And then meditation, visiting spiritual zones, like it's again up to you. Which place do you feel is very peaceful for you? You can meditate. There's a Zen mode everybody has. It's about finding your own Zen mode, just to feel a bit peaceful, something that's very calming. And then I go swimming. So the reason I mentioned this is I want to inspire you all to take up activities, if not every day, but every 3 you can be part of any activity. It's going to make you feel a bit, what do I say, energized. And if you're energetic, you can work for longer time, longer hours. So definitely take up activities which gives you a good physical balance, because that also relates to our work life. That is also very important. So often we try to, we never see these factors, but trust me, these are such important factors which are connected to our entire work life cycle, that it's once you figure this out, how these are connected, it's going to help you and you only. So again, visiting tech events around you, which often happens in Bangalore, and I have been to some of them. And in fact, today I missed one. So there was a AWS Women in Tech conference happening at Embassy One, and I missed it for all the things that have been happening since morning. This, that, power, rain, and all. But yeah, definitely, if I'd had the easiest opportunity to go, I would definitely go interact with people, network, and feel good. So yeah, so these, according to me, are some really good ways to stay productive, and I have been productive. Otherwise, trust me, in remote jobs, at some point it can get really frustrating, not because of your team or the job or the company or the people working in the company. It's because of the lifestyle. So we need to definitely uh, take the responsibility of making our lifestyles better, because nobody else is watching us, and nobody else is going to come and fix it for us. So, yeah, and try not to use your phone much. This is something which I do. Uh, I don't know, I just keep saying this to everybody, but after working in your laptop and just being so much tech loaded throughout the day, if you just try to find a way to relax using your phone, then that's definitely not a very relaxing way to feel calm. That is what I feel. So, but yeah, again, if that, makes you feel good, it's fine. But in the long run, try to find things which are more natural, which are not so technology or digitalized. Try to do something which are more, again, natural. So yeah, these are the points, and that's it in terms of the presentation. And now we can get back to the questions.
Awesome. That was pretty cool, Sohini. I also see that now we kind of have a handful of questions and
Okay.
loved the presentation. There were some really underrated practices you mentioned there, right? To stay productive as well as to maintain that work life balance,
Yeah.
which is like really missing. And I love how you kind of brought up that swimming point. One huge advantage which I found of working remote is being able to work on your hobbies, and hobbies kind of
Ah.
work like a therapy, right? Like you're
Yeah.
just having a bad day, just go for that, and yeah, you're all set for like you're
I
in a good
I
mood.
And I think, like this is something again, like I have so much to say. It's just that because I have realized so many things, but I just tried to gist it out and make it as short as possible. But this is again another thing which I feel we should try to rely more on activities to vent out of the stress. It's not like somebody is arguing or giving you stress. It's like if you sit in front of your laptop for, let's say, even 4 hours, you feel like something is not right. Like something is just too, it doesn't feel too relaxing. So try to vent out through activities which are not so technological or not so digitalized, which are very natural, and yeah, like, and not being dependent on people. So these are really, really good ways, trust me.
Yep, yep. I guess this also kind of gives us a good segue to quickly hop on to the questions bit, right?
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, so I have a few questions myself, Sohini. So one
Mhm.
question is, how to kind of deal with people around you. So let's say there might be kids around you, and that might kind of create some friction when you are especially doing focus work, or let's say you're in a meeting. So let's say we are doing a live session at this moment, and let's say there's
Mhm.
someone knocking at the door, and you just don't have any option but to attend the door, especially if you're alone. So this is something which I kind of resonate with, so would love to hear your perspective on how to deal with such kind of scenarios.
Yeah, so two scenarios, the children factor. So the child factor, when I go to my home, I have my brother and he is 11 years old. So it's pretty small and pretty young, younger to me. I'm not old, but I'm young, but younger to me. So it's like he keeps on popping in, and sometimes he would come to my meetings and just, move his head like this slowly in a slow motion just to see what's happening and just to get a bit visible, kind of, get interacted with. So these things happen. So in when you're in the company, so again, my company has got a great culture. So see, when video call, the people I work with, they have got their own babies, and they would just take the baby on their lap and they would just work. So these things happen so much. So that's why it's kind of it has become very normal to me, my brother coming in. Of course, if my mom calls me with my nickname, that becomes a bit, funny. So people just ask me, "Hey, what's that? What's that? I just heard." Somebody would ask me from, with whomever I would interact. But yeah, while doing live sessions, it's a bit because I don't want to be interrupted by anybody when I'm live on YouTube, because other people are watching me, and I don't expect them to be that understanding, right? You can't expect your audience to be understanding. But so for that, I think the best way is, if you are working remotely or doing constant live streams and all, it's best to have a dedicated workspace at your home. Uh, at least a room or a small place where it's just you, and where you can peacefully do all these events and stuff, because that is important. You don't have to go to an office, so of course you have to make your home a bit. You have to just customize at least one or one room. It's going to have a dedicated space and all the other logistics you need for streaming live and doing stuff. And about the door, yes, I do have that issue, and but unfortunately I haven't found a solution yet. So if I don't open the door, then someone is going to constantly, you know, you never trust all the swaggy people. They will constantly keep ringing. But again, it depends.
Right.
So yeah, like there's a solution to that, but you have to deal with that, and people have to understand. So that's the thing.
Yep, yep. That is a very true, right? And there's also one thing. If one is kind of working remotely,
Hmm.
there's a high probability that most of the folks in their organization will also be working remotely, right? And more often than not, we just forget
Ha
that
ha.
people are really empathetic. So you can just be very candid with them. So like
Yes.
let's say if there's someone at the door, you can just say that I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes, because everyone is kind of sailing the
Ha.
same boat in a way. But at the same time, we should also kind of be mindful, as you just said, right, like making sure that you are planning stuff beforehand, and kind of just thinking that what else could go wrong. Let's say if you're in an interview, just informing everyone in the house that, yeah, I'll be kind of busy, and then kind of
Yeah.
searching for a quiet space accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yep, yep. So Sohini, before I kind of get into the next question, I quickly wanted to confirm, like, at the moment, are you working remotely?
Yes, I am.
Got it. Right, because my next question is kind of along the similar lines. So, what's that one thing you wish you were told before you started working remotely?
Uh, it's just that I would be the only Indian in the company. That's something I wish I were told. It's still that if you have more Indians, at least you can meet with them, right?
Hmm.
Somewhere, sometime, someday you have hope. But sometimes it just feels like, so this is something people scare me off in my company. When we are on a group call, they would say, what if we are just bots and we don't exist and you're the only human being working in our company? And I would be like, come on. So these things happen. So I only wish I had more Indians. And maybe we could have just met and just, yeah, have the. But again, that's remote, right? You can't have that expectation.
Right, right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Fair enough. And it kind of also gets tricky at times. So it's really important to kind of find that
Ha.
right balance for you. And it's like very subjective. There are multiple dynamics which come into the picture. And yes,
Hmm.
those were some good points, Sohini. I'm sure folks in the audience must note down these amazing pointers, right? So we can kind of hop on to the next question. So how do you or let's say, how can a team create a strong company culture in a remote setting? For instance, how to make sure that there's a fine balance wherein you are giving your employees the right flexibility, but at the same time there are boundaries set, or let's say, there may be non-negotiable. So how to kind of uh, navigate through that?
So I think the first thing is trust. You should trust your employees and not tie them to, I don't know. So sometimes what happens is companies, in order to, have a grip of the entire remote team, they would just try to have, I don't know, like, Jira or, GitHub Actions. And they would just say, like, for everything you do, you have to put it up on there. And for everything you do, you have to log time for it. And then it's like a very tightly packed up environment. So you shouldn't do that. But at the same time, to keep track of what other people are doing, you can just have weekly stand up, and then you can just have a Jira board where people can just quickly update what they're working on, instead of just tightly packing them, like you have to add time to that. And uh like it is important how much time you're spending on that. People should be more result oriented than the process oriented thing. That is what I believe, because some companies really don't do a good job at that. So it's important you give your employees that flexibility. Like, okay, this is the deadline, we want it done till this time, and that is all matters. And then they can do. Otherwise, if you try to squeeze your employees, then they're going to lose trust, and gradually they're going to shift to a better work environment where there is more flexibility. Second thing is giving personal time off, PTO, which is very important. So in our company, in the month of August, all the Italians and people from France would take a PTO for a month.
Wow.
For a month. I haven't taken it because I don't know what I'll do for a month. I don't really have a plan, but if like definitely the day I have a family, I have my own family. So, but like we're staying in other places, and again, mom and dad, everybody is busy. But having your own family in the future, then definitely I will take a month's PTO. And I wish to take that. I feel that's a very heroic thing I'll do to myself, is taking a month's personal time off to make myself feel good. So that's definitely something that companies should give to their employees. I'm not saying that companies should give a month's time off, but again, like a scope where they can take PTOs. And then, yeah, I think these are some of the two things which I observe. And then just doing a monthly call with everybody to sync up, not for what they're doing and whatnot, just to talk naturally, and just to talk about what's going on, where they're living, and what's happening in their families and stuff. Just to have a very informal conversation to feel connected. That is important. So these three things are the top three things which I observe from my end.
Bang on, I'd say, right? Especially the time of part, which you kind of just mentioned.
uh,
It's really essential
yeah,
because folks
yeah,
maybe kind of might put a lot of effort for some time, but then there's limited fuel at the end of the day, and you just don't want to be overburnt. And also, I
yeah,
believe that over communication kind of also goes a long way. So let's say you should start making more notes, or start documenting in a better way, or at the end of the day,
yes.
it's the efforts of everyone, or let's say all the stakeholders involved, right? Because at the end of the day,
Mm,
it's the team efforts which kind of result in a good business, or let's say just making sure that how everyone is feeling in the company. So it, it's a combined effort.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. So, Sohini, uh, remote work might not be for everyone, right? Or for that matter, it may not be the right thing for someone at a certain phase in their career. So, for instance, folks who are just starting out, right? Be it freshers, might want that exposure, especially if they are coming out from a place wherein the environment is not such. So, there's also a question from Bhupendra highlighting. Um, the same, right? So he kind of asks that I don't have friends here in my hometown and no colleagues to talk with. It's now affecting my work and mental health. Need some suggestions. And
Uh,
I'm working remotely for the last 2.5 years. My work and life balance
okay.
was very good for the initial days, but now I feel too low.
Yeah, so again, like things, these are the reasons for which I came to Bangalore. Like, I can give you the answer, because when I was in my hometown, I didn't have friends. There's not a place to go. There's no shopping mall, or there's no place to just go and do some activity, play badminton, or just go out with friends, chill, and or watch a movie. Nothing. And I had nobody there. And that's the reason I shifted to Bangalore. So it's not company sponsored, it's just my own expenses. But it's just that I believe that my mental peace is more important than what I'm earning, or whatever it is. So that's why I shifted to this place because I love it. So what you can do is, for a change, you can just so this is something that one of my friend does. So he keeps on traveling for a month to several places where his friends are. So he's going to come to Bangalore too, so that we can all meet and just work together. He's in a different company, and just spend some time together, going outside and just vacationing a bit. So you can do that. If you have friends in other states, just try going to that place, working from there for at least a week, have fun with them. Or you can go to one of the places where you wanted to go really a lot. Like you can maybe go to the hills. You can go to Manali. Many people do that. They go to Manali. There are hostels. You can stay and you can work from there. I know a person who has been there and has worked from there for, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks, and you got all the Wi-Fi and all the logistics set over there. So you just go and spend some time over there and see how it works out. You just need to keep experimenting. You shouldn't stop at one point if you feel like it's not getting good. So just don't feel drained out. Just try to experiment other ways to make yourself feel better.
Cool.
I, yeah,
Yep, yep,
now I
yep.
can hear you.
Perfect,
Mhm.
perfect. There's a question from Keshav wherein he asks that are there remote roles for JavaScript developers? Do they pay well,
Yeah.
or should I learn Java C++? plus plus?
Yeah, definitely. I think again you can go to Abhishek's remote Indian Slack channel. You'll get lots of JavaScript roles over there, and also the sites which I mentioned. If you've taken a screenshot of that slide, you can go and check out in those slides, or just Google JavaScript developers remote jobs, and you'll get tons of them.
Yep.
So, and yeah, of course, US and UK people, they pay a lot, hefty amount, and always be a good negotiator if you have good experience.
Right, right. I guess that kind of also answers the question for Samprat. He too asked a similar question, which is how to get a remote role in pure marketing. All remote roles are
Okay.
either BPOs or
Mhm.
IT. I guess which is not true. Maybe you can share your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I think marketing roles are also there. Just try looking in angel.co. You'll find marketing roles. Also, nowadays, LinkedIn has got, so if you just filter out the jobs as remote, you'll find remote marketing roles in there too. Just try to filter out your search. You'll get it.
Yep, yep. I also feel that searching is like a skill in itself. Like you can literally get your hands on anything. You just need those hacks. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Anthony
You just need to
asks,
know how to search it right.
right, right, very true. And Anthony asks that how to get Slack URL. I believe that he is asking for remote Indians Slack community URL. So Lakan, probably you can share that with Anthony in the chat. And moving on to the next question, VG asks how to check the credibility of a remote company, because generally they all are startups. Like how to find one.
I think my company is a startup too, and that's the fun of working in startups. I think there's more fun in working in startups because you know what? In startups, so let's say 5 years from now, your company is not going to be in the startup phase, most probably. And then 10 years from now, your company is going to really be an established product in the market. So then you're going to think in the early days when your company was getting prepared, you were somebody who wrote code for the product that is, top notch right now in the market. So definitely there's so much of fun and uh, peace doing that, like writing code as a developer or just being on the product end, like constantly striving to make the product a successful one with your hands. It's a big thing to earn in life. So if you look at startups, just go for it, doesn't matter. And over there you get the most of your learnings, you get to perform, you get to explore so much and learn so much and earn so much. So yeah,
Right, right. Uh, and Dex asks, what's the minimum experience required that remote companies look for? So, do you think that experience plays a role in you getting a remote job?
it depends on the types of jobs you're looking for. Some companies would look for really big experiences. Some companies would say just 2 years of experience, and then they would see your products and what you have done in the past. And some companies would need like just a year's experience. So it always depends. You need to, just see uh, how it is for every other company.
Right, right. Makes
Hmm.
sense. And someone asks how to deal with fatigue. I guess you have kind of answered it in many ways. Kind of
Yeah,
just take the time off, go for a vacation, or just try to go move the city and just try to experiment if living in a particular place works for you. So yeah,
yeah. Have good physical pursuits. Go for physical activities. Uh, they help a lot.
indeed. Uh, Cool. Milan asks this question: how to manage the time zone differences, as many remote jobs need a specific time zone criteria.
Okay, so yeah, like I haven't picked up a job like currently or before that has a time zone because some of the job roles I've seen they say you have to work in the PST timing. Well, for me that is not the case. So I would say I would not be the right person to answer this question honestly. Uh, haven't so it's up to you if you'd like to take up that job or not. If you do, then I think yeah, that also have some way of doing it. Probably I have never experienced that uh role. So yeah, I don't really have a very crisp answer to this.
Got it, got it. Maybe we can kind of help you out on our Discord server, whoever asked this question, because there are a bunch of folks from different backgrounds kind of hanging in there. So I'm sure you would
Yeah,
love to hear their perspectives as well. Right. And
yeah, they can give you an honest answer. I would just say you anything and that wouldn't be right, right? So it's
yes.
better if some expert who has experienced it would answer it. That would make more sense.
Perfect. So Tushar says that sticking to the schedule kind of helps a lot, which is true, right? Like sticking to the schedule, setting boundaries should be like followed in a very
Hmm.
religious manner, especially in a remote setting. Like that's like the gospel truth, right? Yep. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's already 7, Sohini, so maybe we'll just pick up one last question and then we can wrap it up. Yeah. So Samrit asks
yeah,
what's
sure,
the.
that works.
Yep. So Samrit asks what's the long-term impact on job trajectory? One called as job security. In remote, it's just virtual and lesser human connectors. Employees might find it easy to boom like fire.
Yeah, can you just say the question
Sure,
again?
sure, Sohini. I guess
Or if you
kind
could
of lost
just
me.
type it. Yeah, it was a long question.
Yup, yup. So basically, Samprit is asking like, do we have job security in remote jobs? Because as there is less of a
Yeah.
human connection there, so it just becomes very easy for people to kind of fire you if things are not working well.
See, again, job security, I would say uh, we have a law in our country. So generally, when layoffs happen in the US, so when you join a company or when you're in the initial phase of joining a company, you should definitely ask these questions to your recruiter or the person you're interacting with. And once they send you the offer letter, you will see the laws. So my consulting agreement is I don't know of 10, 15 pages of all the laws written in it. So in the US, there's this rule for my company that there can be layoffs and it happens with immediate effect. But so according to my company, if an Indian employee needs to be laid off, then we have a notice period of 1 month, and after that only, so I'll get a month's time to find out a new job. So that's the case with like my company. So, but generally this doesn't happen. Uh, it always depends. But yeah, when you join your company, I think it's best if you just ask your recruiter about all these scenarios, like what if this is like ever if there's a layoff situation, what's going to happen, what's not. And because I think layoffs happen in big companies too. Recently, some big company also laid off its employees. I don't remember the name of the company, I just heard it. So it's everywhere almost. It's just that you need to make some initial talk with your recruiter to just have a clear scenario in your head. I think that's the answer. Himani, are you there?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. I was just
Uh,
saying that that is
okay.
pretty true, right? Like doing your homework before itself goes a long way. It
Mm,
just, as in, we kind of get excited and start off with the mission of the company or startup, but then these little things kind of get us in trouble at a
mm,
later point in time. So doing your homework is a must, right? Uh,
yeah.
I guess we are way ahead, as in we have passed 7 p.m. So I guess we can call it a wrap. How does that sound, Sohini?
Yeah, absolutely. Even I have to run. I have things to do. It was absolute fun to be here today and to just share everything and share all my thoughts. Again, it might not be, two great tips, but for me, these have always worked, and so I consider them to be great. But again, it's person to person what you feel is right for you or wrong for you. You have to choose it wisely. But definitely, if you don't have anything in your mind, you can start with all the things that I shared and just experiment and see how you feel about it. So yeah, it was great being here today.
That's super awesome to hear, Sohini. And thanks for tuning in, folks. I guess my Friday evening couldn't have been any better because I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with Sohini. So, yeah, you folks can anytime shoot your remote work related questions, if any, or if there are any challenges which you're facing on our Discord server. It's a really good place to kind of get answers and also hear some interesting perspectives. You can find the link in the chat box. And yeah, that was it. Awesome, Sohini. Thanks a bunch for kind of coming here and being so candid with your presentation, as well as I noticed when you were kind of answering, you were like pretty candid. So I really appreciate that. Maybe we should have a one-on-one soon. It will be fun.
Sure, sure, always there. Happy to, answer, help, and just share everything I have with which I can help people. Always happy to do that. Thank you so much.
Awesome, 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 folks. That's a wrap. See you at the next event then. Bye bye.
All right, bye.